Chosen one, stop. Listen carefully. Do not scroll away from this moment. What I am about to reveal is not small, and it is not meant for everyone. It is meant for you. Yes, you. Because something has been happening around you, and you felt it even if you could not explain it. A silence. A strange pause in the atmosphere. A presence that feels close but unseen. You noticed the shift in someone. Their energy changed. Their words became fewer. Their distance became greater. And deep inside, you wondered why. You wondered if it was something you did. You wondered if it was something you imagined. But hear me clearly, chosen one. This is not your imagination. Someone has been watching you silently, not confronting you, not approaching you, not revealing themselves. Just watching. Watching the way you move now. Watching the way you respond to pressure. Watching the way you carry your peace. Watching the way you no longer react the way you once did. They see the difference. They see the growth. And the silence you noticed is not random, it is observation. I am speaking to you now because this moment is important. If you scroll away now, you may miss the very protection that has been placed around your life. You may miss the message that explains the silence surrounding you. You may miss the reason certain people stepped back without explanation. But stay with me. Listen closely, because what I am revealing now will bring clarity to something that has been quietly unfolding around you. You are chosen. And because you are chosen, your life is watched in ways you do not always understand. Not every watcher comes with open intentions. Not every observer comes with honest motives. Some watch with curiosity, some watch with confusion, some watch with admiration, some watch with hidden motives they cannot yet reveal. But they all watch because they sense something different about you now, something they cannot control, something they cannot fully understand. You changed. Your energy shifted. Your discernment sharpened. Your presence carries a weight it did not carry before, and those who once felt comfortable around you now feel something else. They feel exposure. They feel uncertainty. They feel the quiet pressure of truth standing in front of them. Chosen one, listen carefully to this truth. Silence is not always absence. Silence is often observation. Silence is often the moment someone studies you because they no longer know how to approach you. And this is what has been happening around you. Someone has been watching from the distance of their own uncertainty. They want to understand who you have become. They want to know if the version of you they once knew still exists. They want to see if the same doors they once walked through are still open. But something inside them hesitates. Something inside them pauses. Because the energy around you now is not the same as before. This is not rejection, but protection. Not distance, but discernment. Not loss, but alignment. I am guiding you through a moment where hidden motives cannot remain hidden for long, and the watcher in your life is standing at the edge of a decision they cannot avoid forever. But before their next move happens, you needed to understand something important. Their silence was never about your weakness. Their silence began when they realized your strength. If you believe I am speaking directly to you right now, comment Amen. If you feel that quiet confirmation in your spirit, comment Amen and stay with me, because this message is unfolding for you step by step. Now, listen carefully, chosen one. Chapter 1 begins with what you sensed before anyone said anything. The silent watcher. The quiet observer who stepped back and began studying your life from a distance. You felt their attention without hearing their voice. You sensed their presence without seeing their intentions. You noticed the pause in their behavior. Conversations became shorter, messages became delayed, invitations faded, the energy shifted in a way you could not fully explain. But deep inside, you felt something watching, something evaluating, something studying the new version of you that has been emerging. And you asked yourself quietly, what changed? Why did this person grow silent? Why did their energy become careful? Why does it feel like they are paying attention without speaking? Hear me now, chosen one. What you sensed was real. Someone has been observing you silently, not through confrontation, not through open discussion, but through distance and attention. They have been watching the way you respond to life now, watching how you handle pressure, watching how you protect your peace, watching how you no longer chase explanations the way you once did. And every moment they watch confirms something they were not expecting to see. You changed, you grew, you matured in ways they did not anticipate. The version of you they once understood is no longer the version standing before them now, and this realization has placed them in silence. They are studying you, studying your reactions, studying your boundaries, studying whether the same emotional doors they once walked through are still open. But here is the truth they are slowly discovering. Those doors are not the same anymore, because I have been refining you. I have been strengthening your discernment. I have been teaching you the difference between noise and peace, between attention and intention, between presence and purpose. And because of that transformation, the watcher now stands at a distance trying to understand what changed. They are not seeing weakness anymore. They are seeing clarity. They are not seeing confusion anymore. They are seeing boundaries. They are not seeing someone easily influenced. They are seeing someone aligned. This is not punishment, but protection. Not rejection, but repositioning. Not loneliness, but preparation. I allowed their silence so you could see something clearly. When someone begins to watch more than they speak, it means they are no longer certain how to approach you. When someone studies your life quietly, it means they sense a shift they cannot ignore, and this shift around you is real. The atmosphere around your life has changed. The energy surrounding your decisions has changed. The authority within your spirit has grown stronger. And those who once approached you casually now approach you carefully. That is why the watcher stepped back. Not because you became less valuable, but because you became harder to manipulate. Not because you lost something, but because you gained discernment. And discernment changes everything. If you feel that truth settling inside your spirit right now, comment Amen. Because the message is not finished yet. The watcher who has been studying you cannot remain silent forever. Their observation will eventually lead to action. Their curiosity will eventually force a decision. And when that moment arrives, everything they have been hiding will reveal itself through what they do next. But understand this clearly before that moment comes. You are not unprotected. Nothing enters your life without permission, not even silent observers. I see what you cannot see. I understand what they have not spoken. And I am allowing this moment for a reason connected to your growth, your clarity, and your future. The watcher believes they are studying you. But what they do not realize is that their next move will reveal more about them than about you. And when that moment happens, chosen one, you will see everything clearly. Because you are not the same person you once were. You are being prepared. You are being refined. You are being positioned for a season where hidden motives cannot survive in your presence. Stay with me. Listen closely. Because this revelation is only beginning. You felt it before anyone admitted it. The change did not arrive with an announcement. It arrived quietly. A pause where there used to be flow. A distance where there used to be comfort. Conversations that once moved easily suddenly became careful. Shorter, slower, more guarded. And something inside you noticed immediately. You could not explain it with words, but your spirit recognized it. The atmosphere shifted. The energy changed. The rhythm between you and someone else was no longer the same. This is the moment many people ignore, but you did not ignore it, because you are chosen. And when you are chosen, you sense movement in the unseen before it becomes visible in the physical. You noticed the silence growing between sentences. You noticed the hesitation before replies. You noticed the strange emotional distance forming where familiarity once existed. And you quietly asked yourself a question. What changed? Why does this feel different now? Listen carefully, because the answer is not what you first assumed. The shift you felt was not rejection, it was recognition. Not punishment, but protection, not distance but discernment. Something inside the watcher began to realize you were no longer the same person they once knew. They saw it in the way you responded. They saw it in the way you stayed calm where you once reacted. They saw it in the way you observed instead of explaining yourself. They saw it in the way you carried peace instead of confusion. And that realization created silence. Because people become quiet when they realize their old understanding of you is no longer accurate. The version of you they once approached easily no longer exists in the same way. The version of you they once understood has evolved. Your spirit matured. Your awareness sharpened. Your discernment strengthened. And when that happens, the atmosphere around a chosen one begins to rearrange itself. Conversations change, energy changes, circles change. Some people draw closer because they respect the growth. Others step back because they do not understand it. The watcher stepped back, not because you became less valuable, but because you became harder to influence. They realized the same patterns no longer work. The same emotional pressure no longer moves you. The same conversations no longer shape your decisions. And that realization forced them into observation. They began studying you quietly, watching how you respond to life now, watching how you handle pressure, watching how you protect your peace. They are observing your boundaries, your patience, your calmness. And every moment they watch confirms something they were not expecting to see. You changed. You grew. You matured in ways they did not anticipate. This is why their silence appeared before their explanation. Silence is what people choose when they are trying to understand someone who has transformed. You are chosen. And when a chosen one grows, others must decide how they will respond to that growth. Some adapt. Some respect it. Some celebrate it. But others remain at a distance studying it, trying to understand it, trying to determine whether the doors they once walked through are still open. But the truth they are slowly discovering is this: those doors are not the same anymore, because I am refining you. I am strengthening your discernment. I am preparing you for a season that requires clarity, a season that requires peace, a season that requires you to recognize intention before words are even spoken. That is why you felt the shift before anyone said anything. Your awareness is being sharpened. Your intuition is being trained. Your spirit is learning to recognize truth in silence. If this message feels like confirmation in your heart, comment Amen. Because what you sensed was not confusion. It was discernment awakening. The watcher noticed your transformation before they could explain it. They saw the difference in your responses. They saw the calm in your silence. They saw the clarity in your decisions. And suddenly, they realized something important. They were no longer standing in front of the same person they once knew, so they paused. They stepped back. They began observing from a distance, because people study what they cannot control. They study what they no longer understand. And you chosen one have become someone they must study again. But hear this clearly. Their silence was never meant to make you question yourself. It was meant to confirm something important. Your growth is real. Your transformation is visible. Your presence now carries a weight it did not carry before. When the atmosphere shifts around a chosen one, it means elevation has begun. When people begin watching more than speaking, it means they sense authority in your spirit. Quiet authority, calm authority, unshakable authority. You are chosen. I am preparing you. I am guiding you. I am refining your awareness, your patience, and your peace. And this shift you felt marks the beginning of something deeper, a separation that must happen before your next season begins. Those who can walk with your growth will move closer with honesty. Those who cannot adjust to your transformation will remain where they are now, watching, studying, observing. And this is not loss. This is alignment, not isolation, but preparation, not abandonment, but elevation. Because the path ahead of you requires a circle that understands your purpose, respects your peace, and recognizes the calling on your life. The watcher may continue observing for a while longer. They may continue studying the new version of you, but their silence will not last forever. Eventually, they will move. Eventually, they will act. And when that moment arrives, their next step will reveal everything they have been hiding behind that silence. But until that moment comes, remember this truth. The shift you felt was the first sign that your life has entered a new season. A season where not everyone can walk beside you the same way they once did. A season where your presence reveals intentions without effort. A season where those who truly belong will step forward with honesty, and those who do not will remain in the distance watching a transformation they can no longer deny. Because you are chosen, and I am preparing you for what comes next. There was a moment when they almost spoke. A moment when the silence almost broke. A moment when the watcher stood close to the edge of revealing themselves. You may not have seen it, you may not have heard it, but it happened. The thought crossed their mind, the message almost formed. The conversation almost began, and then something inside them stopped. They hesitated. They paused. They stepped back again, to chosen one that hesitation was not random. It was not confusion. It was exposure. Because when someone stands in the presence of clarity, hidden motives begin to feel heavy. When someone stands near discernment, masks begin to feel fragile. And you carry something now that makes deception uncomfortable. Your presence has changed. Your awareness has grown. Your spirit has matured in ways that others can feel even when they cannot explain it. This is why they chose silence instead of confrontation. They realized something the moment they considered approaching you. They realized that the same explanations they once used might not work anymore. The same stories might not convince you anymore. The same emotional pressure might not influence you anymore. And that realization made them careful, because when someone senses they may be seen clearly, they begin protecting themselves. Silence became their shield. Silence became their safe position. They decided to watch instead of speak, to observe instead of reveal, to study instead of confess. Because speaking to you now would require honesty they may not yet be ready to give. This is what your presence does now. It exposes what once remained hidden. It reveals turns that once stayed comfortable. It brings light into places where darkness once moved quietly. Not because you are trying to expose anyone, not because you are searching for hidden motives, but because the clarity you carry makes it difficult for deception to survive around you. You are chosen, and when a chosen one grows in discernment, the atmosphere around them changes. Conversations become more careful, words become more measured. People become more aware that what they say will be seen more clearly than before. That is why the watcher hesitated. They sensed your awareness before they heard your words. They sensed your clarity before they faced your questions, and suddenly they realized something important. You are no longer the same person they once approached without hesitation. You see deeper now. You notice more now. You feel truth behind words now, and that kind of awareness makes hidden motives uncomfortable. If this message feels like confirmation in your spirit, comment Amen. Because what you are experiencing is not isolation. It is discernment, awakening. The watcher may believe they are protecting themselves with silence, but what they are really doing is revealing something without realizing it. Silence often exposes more than words. Hesitation reveals what confidence tries to hide, and distance reveals what closeness once concealed. But hear this clearly chosen one. The clarity you carry did not come from you alone. You did not create this awareness by yourself. You did not build this discernment through effort alone. I placed it over your life as a covering, a protection, a spiritual filter that helps you recognize intention before deception can enter your circle. I am protecting your path. I am protecting your peace. I am protecting your future, because where you are going next requires clarity around you. It requires honesty in your circle. It requires people who can stand in the light without fear of being seen. That is why deception feels uncomfortable near you now. That is why hesitation appears where confidence once existed, and that is why the Watcher chose silence instead of confrontation. They realized that standing in front of you would require truth, and truth is heavy for those who are not ready to carry it. But do not misunderstand this moment. Their silence is not permanent. Their hesitation is not the end of the story. Silence can delay truth, but it cannot hide it forever. Eventually, something will happen, circumstances will shift, pressure will rise, and the Watcher will be forced into a decision. They will either step forward with honesty or reveal their intentions through their actions. Because hidden motives cannot remain hidden forever in the presence of clarity. Light exposes what darkness tried to hide. Truth reveals what silence tried to protect. And the moment of revelation is approaching. If you feel that truth settling inside you, comment Amen. Because the silence surrounding you right now is only temporary. The Watcher may continue observing for a while longer. They may continue studying your life quietly, but the moment will come when they must act. And when that moment arrives, their next move will reveal everything. Their words will reveal it, their behavior will reveal it, or their sudden disappearance will reveal it. But one way or another, the truth will step into the open, and when it does, you will recognize it immediately, because you are not the same person you once were. You are calmer now, clearer now, more grounded now. Your discernment is stronger, your patience is deeper, your peace is more stable. This is the preparation I have been guiding you through. Not punishment, but protection. Not confusion, but refinement. Not delay, but alignment. You are chosen, and I am preparing you for a season where truth becomes visible without effort. A season where you no longer chase explanations because clarity arrives on its own. A season where those who stand before you reveal themselves simply by the way they move. The Watcher believes they are observing you quietly, but what they do not realize is this. Their silence is already speaking. Their hesitation is already revealing. Their distance is already explaining more than they intended to show. And soon, very soon, their next step will make everything clear. Their attention is not casual. It is not passing curiosity. It is deliberate, focused, careful. The Watcher is studying you, not just looking at you, studying you, watching how you move through pressure, watching how you respond to silence, watching how you carry yourself when distance appears where closeness once lived. Every moment you remain calm, they notice. Every time you refuse to react the way you once did, they notice. Every time you choose peace instead of argument, patience instead of explanation, observation instead of reaction, they notice. This is what they are studying. Not your words, not your appearance, your responses, your reactions, your boundaries. Because the Watcher is trying to answer a quiet question inside their mind. Are you still the same person they once knew? Are the same doors still open? Are the same emotional patterns still reachable? They are studying your behavior because they are searching for signs of the old version of you. The version that once explained too much. The version that once tolerated confusion. The version that once questioned itself more than necessary. They are watching closely to see if that version of you still exists. And every moment they observe you now, the answer becomes clearer. Something about you has changed. Your responses are different. Your silence is different. Your patience is different. You do not react with the same urgency. You do not chase the same explanations. You do not move with the same emotional pressure. And this difference is what holds their attention. They are evaluating your reactions, your emotional responses, your boundaries. They are looking for cracks that once existed. They are searching for openings that once welcomed them easily. But what they are discovering instead is something they did not expect to see. Stability, clarity, peace. You are not moving the way you once moved. You are not reacting the way you once reacted. And every moment they observe this new version of you, their understanding begins to shift. Because they are realizing something slowly. The version of you they once knew is not the version standing here now. This is not curiosity. This is confirmation. The watcher is confirming that the change inside you is real, and that realization is difficult for them to process. Because when someone studies you expecting to find the old patterns but instead finds new boundaries, it forces them to reconsider everything they thought they understood about you. But listen carefully, chosen one. What they are studying is not something you created alone. The peace they are noticing is not accidental. The clarity they are observing did not appear overnight. I have been preparing you. I have been refining you. I have been strengthening your discernment step by step. The patience they see now was built through experiences you survived. The calm they see now was shaped through challenges you endured. The clarity they see now was formed through moments where confusion once lived. You are chosen. And when a chosen one grows, the transformation becomes visible even to those who once misunderstood them. The watcher may not fully understand what changed inside you. They may not recognize the process that refined you, but they can see the result. They can see the difference. They can see the stability in your presence. And that stability is what they are studying now. If this message feels like truth inside your spirit, comment Amen, because what you are witnessing is transformation being recognized. The watcher is observing something they cannot influence anymore. They are observing someone who no longer reacts according to the patterns they once expected. They are observing someone who carries calm where there was once uncertainty. Someone who carries boundaries where there was once openness without limits. Someone who carries discernment where there was once hesitation. And this observation is slowly leading them to an unavoidable realization. You are no longer accessible in the same way. The emotional doors they once walked through easily now stand guarded by clarity. The conversations that once influenced you now pass through discernment first. The patterns that once repeated themselves can no longer find the same entrance. This is not distance created by anger. It is distance created by growth. Not rejection, but recognition. Not resistance, but refinement. You have evolved beyond the patterns that once defined your interactions, and the watcher is beginning to see it clearly. They may continue observing for a while. They may continue studying your responses. But the more they watch, the more one truth becomes impossible to ignore. You are not the same person they once knew. Your presence carries authority now. Quiet authority. Steady authority. The kind of authority that does not argue or explain itself. It simply exists. And when someone studies that kind of transformation long enough, it changes the way they approach you. Some will step forward with honesty. Some will approach with respect. But others will remain where they are now, watching from a distance because they realize the same access no longer exists. And this realization is part of the preparation unfolding in your life. I am refining your circle. I am refining your atmosphere. I am refining the people who stand close enough to influence your peace. Because the next season of your life requires clarity around you. It requires honesty near you. It requires people who respect the boundaries that protect your purpose. And the watcher's observation will eventually lead them to a final understanding. You are not accessible in the same way anymore. The version of you they once studied is gone. The version of you standing here now moves differently, sees differently, and responds differently. And when they finally understand that truth, their next move will reveal everything about their intentions. Their silence is not empty. Their attention is not neutral. There is a motive behind the watching, a reason behind the quiet observation, a purpose behind the distance they keep while their eyes remain on your life. Chosen one, understand this clearly. People do not study someone this closely without a reason. Curiosity alone does not create this kind of attention. Something deeper is moving inside them. Something unresolved. Something unfinished. Something they cannot easily explain even to themselves. That is why they remain silent. That is why they observe instead of speak, because the motive inside them is complicated, mixed, layered. They may feel curiosity. They may feel regret. They may feel admiration. They may even feel jealousy, all at the same time. And when emotions become this tangled silence, often becomes the only place where someone feels safe. They watch because they are trying to understand what they feel. They watch because they are trying to understand what they lost. They watch because they are trying to understand who you have become. Something about your transformation has stirred something inside them they can't ignore. They see your peace. They see your stability. They see your growth. And those things create questions in their mind. Questions about the past. Questions about their choices. Questions about what might have been different if they had acted another way. This is the hidden motive behind their observation. They are not simply studying your reactions. They are studying your life. They are trying to determine whether the door they once stood near is permanently closed. They are trying to determine whether the distance between you is final or temporary. They are trying to determine how the chosen one standing before them will respond if they step forward again. And that uncertainty is why they remain silent, because they do not know what will happen if they break the silence. They do not know if you will welcome them. They do not know if you will question them. They do not know if you will simply observe them the same way they have been observing you. This uncertainty holds them in place, watching, studying, waiting. But listen carefully, chosen one. Motives cannot hide forever. The truth inside someone eventually reveals itself through behavior. No one can watch forever without eventually acting. No one can carry hidden intentions forever without eventually showing them. Action exposes what silence tries to hide. Movement reveals what observation tries to protect. And the watcher is approaching that moment now. They have watched long enough to understand that you have changed. They have observed enough to realize you are no longer moving through life the same way. They see the difference in your peace. They see the difference in your patience. They see the difference in your clarity. And this realization is forcing them toward a decision. Because the longer they observe you, the harder it becomes to remain silent. Their motives are pressing forward. Their thoughts are pressing forward. Their emotions are pressing forward. Eventually, something inside them will move. And when that movement happens, their true intention will reveal itself immediately. If you feel this truth resonating within you, comment Amen. Because the silence surrounding you right now is not confusion, it is preparation. Preparation for a moment of revelation. The watcher believes they are carefully hiding their motives. They believe silence protects them. They believe distance conceals what they feel. But what they do not realize is that observation itself reveals more than they intend. The way someone watches tells a story. The way someone hesitates reveals emotion. The way someone studies another person reveals unfinished thoughts. And you, chosen one, will recognize the truth when it appears. Because your discernment is stronger now. Your awareness is clearer now. Your spirit recognizes intention faster than before. This is not something you created alone. I have been sharpening your perception. I have been strengthening your clarity. I have been teaching you how to see beyond words. Because where you are going next requires this level of awareness. Not punishment, but protection. Not suspicion, but discernment. Not fear, but wisdom. You are chosen. And I am preparing you to recognize truth the moment it appears in front of you. When the watcher finally moves, their actions will speak louder than their silence ever did. If their motive carries sincerity, you will feel it immediately. If their motive carries hidden agendas, you will recognize it immediately. If their motive carries regret, admiration, jealousy, or unfinished emotion, it will reveal itself through the way they approach you, and when that moment arrives, you will not need long explanations. You will not need endless conversations. The truth will be visible in their behavior, clear, direct, unavoidable, because the clarity surrounding your life now exposes intentions quickly. The watcher has been studying you for answers, but what they do not realize is this. Their next move will answer the question about them. It will reveal whether they come with honesty or with hidden motives, whether they come with sincerity or with unresolved agendas, whether they come prepared to meet the new version of you or still hoping to find the old one. And when that moment happens, you will see it clearly, because you are not the same person you once were. Your spirit is steady now. Your discernment is awake now. Your peace is protected now. You are chosen, and the truth will reveal itself exactly when it needs to. Something about your presence changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, subtly, but powerfully. The Watcher felt it the moment they stood near your energy again. Something was different. The atmosphere around you was no longer the same. The space around your words felt clearer. The silence around your decisions felt stronger. And suddenly, they realized something they were not expecting to realize. The same influence they once carried around you no longer worked. The same pressure no longer moved you. The same emotional currents no longer pulled you in the same direction. Chosen one. This is the moment that made them step back. Not because they stopped paying attention, not because they stopped caring about what happens in your life, but because they recognized something new standing in front of them. Authority. Quiet authority. Calm authority. The kind of authority that does not argue or prove itself. It simply exists. Your energy changed. Your presence changed. Your boundaries became visible without needing explanation. And when someone who once operated comfortably around you feels that kind of shift, they immediately become careful, because they sense something that makes manipulation difficult. They sense clarity, they sense discernment, they sense awareness. And awareness disrupts hidden motives. Awareness exposes intentions before they can hide behind words. That is why the Watcher stepped back. They felt the difference before they could fully explain it. They felt that the atmosphere around you no longer welcomes the same patterns. The emotional doors they once walked through easily now stand guarded by peace. The conversations that once influenced you now meet calm observation instead. The reactions they once expected no longer appear. And this realization created distance. Not rejection, but recognition. Not conflict, but exposure. Not anger, but authority. You are chosen. And when a chosen one grows in discernment, their energy begins to change the atmosphere around them. People who carry honesty feel comfortable near that energy. They feel respected. They feel understood. They feel safe to speak truth. But people who carry hidden motives feel something different. They feel pressure. They feel caution. They feel the quiet exposure that comes when clarity stands in front of them. This is why the Watcher stepped back, because the energy around you now disrupts patterns that once operated easily. You are not chasing explanations anymore. You are not reacting to every movement around you. You are observing, listening, noticing, and that level of awareness makes manipulation almost impossible. The Watcher sensed this immediately. They sensed that the same emotional strategies would no longer work. The same influence would no longer move you. The same confusion would no longer cloud your decisions. And that realization forced them into distance. But listen carefully, chosen one. Do not misunderstand this moment. The distance you see now is not isolation. It is evidence of growth. When your discernment grows stronger, some people naturally step back. Not because they hate you, not because they wish harm, but because the environment around you now requires honesty. And honesty is uncomfortable for those who are not ready to carry it. This is not punishment, but protection. Not loneliness, but alignment. Not rejection, but refinement. I am strengthening your boundaries. I am strengthening your peace. I am strengthening your awareness so that your life moves forward with clarity instead of confusion. If you feel this truth confirming something inside you, comment Amen. Because what you are witnessing is your atmosphere changing. The Watcher felt the authority around your presence, and authority always reshapes the environment around it. Some people feel drawn toward it. They recognize the stability and respect it. They approach with sincerity. They approach with honesty. They approach with humility. But others remain at a distance, watching, studying, observing. Because they realize that the version of you they once knew is no longer available in the same way. Your energy now carries boundaries they cannot easily cross. Your peace now protects your decisions. Your clarity now filters what enters your circle. And this shift will continue shaping your life moving forward. Your circle will change. Your environment will change. Your conversations will change. Because authority attracts the right people and quietly pushes away the wrong ones. Those who carry honesty will draw closer. They will respect the boundaries they see around you. They will understand the calm strength you carry. They will walk beside your growth without fear of being seen clearly. But those who carry hidden motives will remain where the watcher stands now, at a distance. Observing the transformation they cannot influence anymore. This is the process of refinement unfolding in your life. I am refining your circle. I am refining your atmosphere. I am refining who has access to your time, your energy, and your presence. Because the next season of your life requires people who can stand in the same clarity you now carry. Not everyone will step into that space. Some will choose distance. Some will choose observation. Some will remain watchers instead of companions. And that is not failure. That is alignment. Because you are chosen. And I am preparing you for a future where your authority shapes the environment around you. A future where honesty walks beside you and hidden motives cannot remain comfortable in your presence. The watcher felt this shift before anyone said anything. And that is why they stepped back. But their distance is not the end of the story. Their observation will eventually lead them to a realization they cannot avoid. The chosen one standing before them now is no longer accessible in the same way, and that truth will determine what they do next. There was a moment when the silence almost broke, a moment when the distance between you and the watcher nearly disappeared. They came close, closer than you realize. A message almost written, a conversation almost started, words forming in their mind that nearly reached you. For a brief moment, they stood at the edge of revealing themselves. And something inside you may have felt that tension without understanding why. The atmosphere shifted for a second. The silence became heavier. The energy between you felt charged, almost like something was about to surface. That moment was real. The watcher nearly stepped forward. They nearly said what had been building inside them. They nearly crossed the quiet line they have been standing behind for so long. But then something happened. They stopped. They hesitated. They stepped back again into silence. Chosen one, that hesitation was not random. It was not simple fear. It was realization. Because the closer they came to speaking, the clearer something became inside their mind. Approaching you now requires honesty. Real honesty. Not explanations built on confusion. Not words carefully arranged to avoid truth. But honesty that stands completely exposed. And they may not yet be ready for that. The moment they considered speaking, they also imagined what it would mean. It would mean facing your clarity. It would mean standing in front of your discernment. It would mean revealing intentions that have remained hidden inside silence. And that realization made them pause. Because speaking to you now is different than speaking to the version of you they once knew. The old version of you asked questions from uncertainty. The old version of you sometimes searched for explanations that others could shape. But the version of you standing here now listens differently. You observe. You notice what hides beneath words. You feel intention behind sentences, and that kind of awareness makes honesty unavoidable. That is what stopped them. They realized that once the silence breaks, there is no easy way to hide again. Truth would have to stand in the open. Motives would have to show themselves clearly. And they hesitated. Silence felt safer. Silence felt easier. Silence allowed them to keep observing without revealing what lives inside their thoughts. But listen carefully, chosen one. Hesitation itself is part of exposure. When someone almost reveals themselves but stops it, well, it means the truth is already close to the surface. When someone repeatedly approaches the edge of confession but pulls back, it means they know something inside them cannot remain hidden forever. The watcher's hesitation is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the revelation process. Because every time they almost speak, the pressure inside them grows stronger. Every moment they remain silent after nearly revealing themselves adds weight to what they are holding back. And eventually, that weight becomes too heavy to carry quietly. Silence can hold truth for a while, but it cannot hold it forever. If this message feels like confirmation to you, comment Amen. Because what you are witnessing right now is the quiet build-up before truth surfaces. The watcher may continue observing. They may continue hesitating, but every moment they come close to speaking changes something inside them. They are realizing that watching from a distance no longer gives them the answers they want. Observation cannot resolve what they feel. Silence cannot remove the questions forming inside them. The longer they wait, the stronger the urge becomes to step forward and reveal what they have been holding inside. And when that moment finally arrives, it will come suddenly. Not slowly, not carefully. Suddenly. Because when truth reaches the point where it can no longer remain hidden, it breaks through silence all at once. You may not expect it. The watcher may not even expect it themselves. But circumstances will shift. Emotions will rise. A moment will appear where silence can no longer protect them. And in that moment, what has been hidden will step into the open. Their words may reveal it, their actions may reveal it. Even their sudden appearance may reveal it. But one way or another, the truth will come forward. And when it does, you will recognize it immediately. Because your discernment is awake now. Your awareness is stronger now. Your spirit has been prepared to recognize intention the moment it appears. This preparation did not happen by accident. I have been guiding you through every moment that sharpened your awareness. Every challenge that strengthened your patience. Every silence that taught you to observe instead of react. You are chosen. And I am preparing you to recognize truth the moment it stands in front of you. The watcher believes they are controlling the timing of this revelation. They believe their silence keeps everything hidden. But what they do not understand is that the moment of exposure is already moving closer. Every hesitation pushes it nearer. Every almost message, every almost conversation, every almost confession brings them closer to the point where silence cannot hold the truth any longer. And when that moment arrives, everything will become clear. Because the watcher will no longer remain hidden behind observation, they will step forward. And the truth they have been holding back will reveal exactly who they are and why they have been watching you all this time. You were meant to notice the silence. It was not placed around you to be ignored. It was not something accidental drifting through your life without purpose. The pause, you sensed the strange quietness surrounding that person, the subtle distance that appeared where familiarity once lived. None of it was meant to go unnoticed. Your awareness was part of the message. Because when silence appears around a chosen one, it is often a signal that something is shifting beneath the surface. A signal that motives are moving quietly behind actions. A signal that the atmosphere is changing in ways words have not yet revealed. And you felt it immediately. You noticed the quiet tension where there used to be ease. You noticed the way someone became more careful, more distant, more observant. And for a moment you may have questioned yourself. You may have wondered if you were imagining things. You may have asked yourself if you were reading too deeply into the silence. But listen carefully, chosen one. You were meant to notice it. Your awareness was not an accident. It was discernment. Because awareness is one of the ways your spirit recognizes truth before it becomes visible. Long before explanations arrive. Long before confessions appear. Long before actions reveal what someone truly carries inside. Your intuition sensed it. Your perception felt the shift in energy before your mind had the language to explain it. This is the sharpening of discernment. This is the awakening of intuition. And it did not appear in your life without purpose. I have been strengthening your awareness, teaching you how to recognize the quiet signals that reveal what words try to hide, teaching you how to notice changes in atmosphere, in tone, in presence. Because where you are going next requires this level of clarity, not suspicion, but awareness. Not fear, but discernment. The watcher did not realize this when they stepped into silence. They believed distance would hide their intentions. They believed quiet observation would conceal their motives. But what they did not understand is that silence often reveals more than words. Silence changes the atmosphere. Silence creates signals. Silence creates a pressure that sensitive spirits can feel immediately. And you felt it, because your intuition has been sharpened. Your awareness has been refined. You are no longer walking through life without noticing what shifts around you. You sense it. You observe it. You feel it before explanations appear. This is not something you should doubt. It is something you should recognize. If this truth resonates within you, comment Amen. Because your awareness is not imagination. It is protection. Many people move through life ignoring the quiet signals around them. They ignore tension in conversations. They ignore changes in behavior. They ignore the feeling that something has shifted beneath the surface. But you did not ignore it. Something inside you paused. Something inside you paid attention. And that pause protected you, because awareness is the first layer of protection placed over the life of a chosen one. When you notice something before it fully reveals itself, you are given time. Time to observe. Time to understand. Time to allow truth to surface naturally instead of rushing into confusion. This is the purpose of discernment. It keeps you from stepping blindly into situations where motives remain hidden. It allows you to see patterns forming before they take control of your peace. It allows you to watch quietly until the truth becomes clear on its own. And this is exactly what is happening in your life now. The watcher's silence created the signal. Your awareness received the signal. And now you stand in a place where you can observe without rushing, watch without reacting, understand without forcing answers. This is the wisdom that comes with spiritual maturity. Not every silence must be confronted immediately. Not every question must be chased for explanation. Sometimes the greatest clarity arrives when you remain still and allow truth to reveal itself through time. That is the position you are standing in now, and it is not weakness. It is strength, because your intuition is guiding you quietly. The same awareness that noticed the silence will also recognize the truth when it appears. When the watcher finally moves, you will feel the difference immediately. When their intentions become visible, your spirit will recognize it instantly. Because once discernment awakens, it does not fall asleep again. It continues guiding you, continues protecting you, continues revealing the difference between sincerity and hidden motives. This is part of the preparation unfolding in your life. I am training your awareness to recognize truth before it becomes complicated. I am teaching your spirit to trust the quiet signals that appear before events unfold. Because the path ahead of you requires clarity in the unseen places. The watcher may believe their silence keeps everything hidden, but their silence already revealed something important. It revealed that your awareness is working exactly the way it was meant to. And this awareness will continue guiding you forward. It will protect your peace. It will protect your decisions. It will protect your future from entering situations where truth remains buried beneath appearances. You are chosen. And chosen ones are not meant to walk blindly. They are meant to see before others see, to sense before others sense, to understand before words are spoken. The silence you noticed was the signal, and the signal confirmed that your intuition is awake. Moving forward, that awareness will continue revealing truth to you, quietly, clearly, exactly when you need it. Something is building behind the silence. Pressure. Quiet, but growing. The watcher has remained still for a long time, observing, studying, waiting, but silence cannot hold tension forever. And inside them, something is beginning to move, a thought that will not disappear, a question that keeps returning, a feeling that refuses to remain buried. Chosen one, they are approaching a moment where watching is no longer enough. The distance that once felt safe now feels uncomfortable. The silence that once protected them now feels heavy. Because the longer someone observes without acting, the louder their inner voice becomes. And that voice is pushing them toward a decision. They cannot study you forever without eventually choosing what to do next. They have watched your growth. They have seen your calm. They have noticed the boundaries around your peace. And every moment they observe you, the same realization returns to them again and again. You are not the same person they once knew. That realization is creating pressure. Not outside pressure, internal pressure. The kind that builds slowly until action becomes unavoidable. Something inside them wants resolution. Something inside them wants clarity. Something inside them wants to step forward and see what happens if the silence finally breaks. This is the moment they are approaching now. The moment where observation becomes movement. The moment where silence becomes action. And when it happens, it may arrive suddenly. Because people often remain quiet for a long time and then move all at once. Their next step could appear in many forms. A message you did not expect. A conversation that appears without warning. An apology that surfaces from the past. Or an action that quietly reveals what they truly feel. Sometimes the revelation does not even come through words. Sometimes behavior alone tells the story. The way someone approaches you, the way they reappear, the way they react when they stand in your presence again. All of these things reveal intention without needing long explanations. But listen carefully, chosen one. You do not need to chase this moment. You do not need to search for answers. You do not need to force truth out of silence. Truth has its own timing, and the moment of revelation is already moving toward you. Your role is not to pursue clarity. Your role is to remain steady while clarity arrives. This is the difference between the old version of you and the version standing here now. The old version of you might have searched for explanations, might have questioned every silence, might have tried to understand every shift immediately. But you are different now. You have learned the strength of stillness, the strength of observation, the strength of allowing truth to reveal itself naturally. If you feel this message confirming something inside your spirit, comment Amen. Because the answers you once chased are now moving toward you on their own. The watcher believes they are carefully controlling when they move. They believe they can remain silent as long as they choose. But what they do not understand is that the pressure inside them will eventually decide the timing. The longer they wait, the stronger the need becomes to act. And when they finally take that step, the truth behind their silence will become visible immediately. Not slowly, clearly. Because actions reveal what observation hides. Movement reveals what silence protects. And when that movement happens, something important will become clear to you. You will see exactly where they stand, exactly what they carry inside, exactly what their intentions have been during all the time they spent watching quietly. This clarity will not confuse you. It will not overwhelm you. It will simply confirm what your intuition has already been telling you, because you have been prepared for this moment. Your discernment is awake. Your awareness is steady. Your spirit recognizes intention faster than before, and when the watcher finally moves, your understanding will arrive immediately. You will know whether their presence belongs in your future or whether it belongs in your past. This is the destiny hidden inside this moment. Not confrontation, but clarity. Not conflict, but revelation. Because the move they are preparing right now is not only about them. It is also about you seeing the truth clearly enough to move forward without confusion. When their intentions become visible, you will understand something important about your path. Some people were meant to walk beside you into your next season. Others were only meant to appear in earlier chapters of your story. And when the watcher finally reveals themselves, the truth will become impossible to ignore. You are chosen, and chosen ones do not carry unnecessary confusion into their future. Clarity always arrives before the next chapter begins. The Watcher's next move will bring that clarity, and when it happens, you will know exactly who belongs in the road ahead and who only belonged in the road behind. The moment of clarity is closer than you think, and when it arrives, it may feel intense at first, because truth has a way of appearing all at once. Hidden intentions will not unfold slowly anymore. They will surface suddenly. The silence that surrounded this situation will break. The distance that once felt confusing will finally make sense. And for a brief moment, the weight of that realization may feel strong. Because when truth steps into the light, it exposes everything that once lived in the shadows. But listen carefully, chosen one. That moment is not meant to harm you. It is meant to free you. When everything becomes clear, you will begin to see the past differently. The silence you once questioned will make sense. The emotional distance you once felt will reveal its purpose. The strange shifts in energy, the hesitation, the observation, the watching from afar, every piece will suddenly connect. What once felt confusing will become understandable. What once felt uncertain will become obvious, because truth removes the fog that hides intention. And once that fog disappears, clarity arrives quickly. You will see why certain conversations became shorter. You will understand why certain people stepped back. You will recognize why someone chose silence instead of honesty. And when you see it clearly, something important will happen inside you. Peace will replace confusion. Understanding will replace doubt. Acceptance will replace the questions that once lived in your mind. This is the power of revelation. It brings an end to the uncertainty that once surrounded a situation. But hear this truth clearly. When someone leaves your life because truth exposed them, they do not take your destiny with them. Your purpose does not disappear when a person walks away. Your future does not collapse when a connection fades. Exposure is not loss. Exposure is protection. Not punishment, but protection. Not rejection, but redirection. Not chaos, but alignment. I remove what cannot walk with you into your next season. I reveal what cannot remain hidden near your purpose. Because the path ahead of you requires clarity. It requires peace. It requires people who can stand beside you without hiding intentions behind silence. If this message resonates deeply within you, comment Amen. Because clarity is one of the greatest forms of protection I place over the life of a chosen one. When truth appears, it protects your energy. It protects your time. It protects your future from being entangled in situations that were never meant to follow you forward. And this is exactly what is unfolding now. The Watcher's silence, their hesitation, their observation, their distance, all of it has been leading toward this moment of revelation. A moment where intentions can no longer remain hidden. A moment where truth becomes visible enough for you to move forward with confidence. And once that clarity arrives, something powerful happens. Your path becomes lighter, your circle becomes clearer, your environment becomes more peaceful, because confusion no longer occupies the space where understanding now lives. You are chosen, and chosen ones are guided through moments like this, not to break them, but to prepare them. I am preparing you for a new season, a season where your peace is protected by truth. A season where your discernment continues guiding you toward people who carry sincerity instead of hidden motives. A season where your energy attracts those who respect your growth, your boundaries, and your purpose. Not everyone will walk beside you into that season. Some will remain behind in earlier chapters of your life. Some will watch from a distance. Some will disappear quietly once truth becomes visible. But those who are meant to walk with you will remain. They will not fear your clarity. They will not hesitate around your discernment. They will stand beside you openly, honestly, without the need for silence to hide what they carry inside. This is the circle being prepared around your future. Honest connections, clear intentions, peaceful presence. Because the path ahead of you requires people who can walk in the same light that now surrounds your life. The Watcher played their role in this chapter. Their silence revealed something important. Their observation confirmed your transformation. Their hesitation exposed the truth waiting beneath the surface. But the chapter does not end with them. It ends with you stepping forward into clarity, into peace, into a future where confusion no longer follows you, because you are chosen. And the next season of your life will be built on truth alignment and the quiet strength that now surrounds everything you do. The silence has done its work. What once felt heavy around you has served its purpose. The watching, the hesitation, the distance, all of it was part of a transition you could not fully see while you were inside it. But now, something new is beginning to form around your life. A new atmosphere, a new rhythm, a new season where clarity becomes the foundation instead of confusion. Chosen one, listen carefully to this truth. Every season of silence prepares the ground for a season of movement. When observation ends, alignment begins. When hidden motives are exposed, new connections start appearing. When confusion leaves your environment, peace has room to grow. This is the moment you are stepping into now, not suddenly, not loudly, but steadily, quietly. The watchers begin to fade into the background. The questions that once occupied your thoughts begin to lose their weight. The tension that once surrounded certain situations begins to dissolve, and you begin to notice something different. A calmness returning to your life, a stability returning to your decisions, an atmosphere around you that feels lighter, clearer, easier to breathe in. This is what happens when truth finishes its work, when revelation has done what it needed to do, when clarity removes the fog that once surrounded your path. You begin moving forward without carrying unnecessary weight, because what needed to be exposed has been exposed. What needed to step back has stepped back. What needed to be understood has been understood. And now space is opening around your future. Space for the right people, space for the right opportunities, space for the right connections to appear without confusion standing in the way. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. Not punishment, but preparation. Not loss, but positioning. Because every time truth clears your environment, it creates room for something better to enter your life. You are chosen. And chosen ones cannot carry every person from every chapter into their next season. Some people are part of the lesson. Some people are part of the growth. Some people are part of the preparation. But only a few are part of the journey ahead. And now you are beginning to see the difference. The watchers revealed themselves through silence. Others revealed themselves through honesty. And that difference matters more than you realize, because the next season of your life will be built around sincerity, around clarity, around people who do not need silence to hide what they carry inside. People who can stand beside you openly. People who respect your peace. People who recognize the strength of your discernment instead of fearing it. This is the circle being prepared around your future. A circle that understands your growth. A circle that does not question your boundaries. A circle that honors the clarity you now carry. If you feel this message confirming something inside your spirit, comment Amen. Because the season ahead of you is not about returning to the past. It is about stepping fully into the future that has been quietly forming around your life. The silence that once surrounded you was part of the preparation. The watchers were part of the preparation. The exposure of hidden motives was part of the preparation. All of it was shaping your awareness, strengthening your discernment, and protecting the path that now stands before you. And as you move forward, something important will become even clearer. You no longer need to chase understanding. You no longer need to force clarity from people who choose silence. Truth reveals itself naturally around a chosen one who walks in discernment. Actions reveal what words try to hide. Behavior reveals what observation tries to protect. And your spirit now recognizes those signals quickly. This is the wisdom that will guide you through the next chapter of your life, not reacting too quickly, not chasing explanations unnecessarily, simply observing, listening, allowing truth to show itself in its own time, because that is how clarity continues protecting your peace. The watchers may still exist somewhere in the distance, but their role in your life is already fading. The focus of your path is no longer behind you. It is ahead of you, ahead in the new opportunities beginning to form, ahead in the connections that will approach you with sincerity instead of hesitation, ahead in the environment where your growth is respected instead of quietly studied. This is the season opening before you now, a season where clarity replaces confusion, a season where honesty replaces hidden motives, a season where those who walk beside you do so without fear of being seen clearly, because they carry nothing to hide. This is where your path is leading you, and you are ready for it. You are stronger now, clearer now, more grounded now. Your discernment is awake, your peace is protected, your future is being shaped by truth instead of uncertainty. You are chosen, and the season ahead of you will reflect that truth in every step you take.